Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jake Taylor. Others have said the recent increase in used car prices and value could be the reason. So today I created a graph tracking average used car index price for that exact same time period. But if you can look to the right of me a little bit, out near those lights, near those cars, Jared Haddock is the man police say killed 3 people in Yakima yesterday before later taking his own life. Today I had an emotional conversation with Jared's mom. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jake Taylor, and this is our guest co-anchor today, Charlie Taylor, here because it's Take Your Child to Work Day. Let's get into it, Charlie. And it's general fund, a combined $24 million in the red. We have the video that's gone viral showing more than a dozen inmates escaping from the Yakima County Jail. Right now, 6 of them are still on the loose tonight. So how did this happen? Victor Park joins us live from outside the jail right now. Victor, I understand you spoke to their head of security. What are they saying? Here with Congressman Dan Newhouse. We want to ask him a few questions aside from policy. We're running out of room in the studio. I couldn't be happier about it. I want to show you what we're talking about. We usually try to fit all of these toys, well, over here in this section of our studio. To most looking at this video, it's hard to imagine that police couldn't give chase. So we want to take a closer look at the specific laws in place and how they apply in this instance. Troopers saying state law is what stopped them from pursuing that driver at first and potentially stopping him before he got to the Yakima Valley, while a family member fears the earlier chase may have led to that crash. I looked into the debate over police chases happening in the legislature right now and how local police want the green light to chase more often.
It's like one or both tires in the rear are gone.
It's now been more than 18 months since Washington lawmakers restricted police pursuits, specifically done to try to prevent tragic deaths like those of 2 children in the Yakima Valley Tuesday.
Vehicular pursuits are among the most dangerous police activities, and they lead to innocent people getting seriously injured and killed. Since 1979, more than 5,000 bystanders have been killed during police pursuits in the U.S.
But police have argued the changes have in fact made our community less safe, as they've been unable to chase many suspects. Just last week, local police in the Yakima Valley saying they need to be able to give chase.
Now everybody knows if they just run from the police that we'll just disengage.
House Bill 1363, that's passed now through committee, would give police more discretion in choosing to chase a suspect connected to a possible violent crime or DUI. They would be able to use their own reasonable suspicion to chase, no longer needing to have specific evidence and probable cause. Some local law enforcement want it to go farther, allowing them to chase in not just violent crimes.
Serious crimes, which would be great. Then you could have the ability to pursue stolen vehicles or thefts or burglary calls or anything like that. The things that it would expect law enforcement to be able to do, we still cannot.
But others argue the current law with a higher bar to give chase is doing exactly what it's meant to.
The current law is working, and to change it, we'll need some real good evidence.
Leslie Cushman with the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability says police chases are simply too risky.
It was put into effect because vehicular pursuits are inherently dangerous, they're risky, and the data shows that.
The data is unclear. The state doesn't track how often police chase, nor the outcomes of those chases now.
I don't think we can get our arms around the issue without the data.
Now, the legislature also considering a bill that would create a work group to try to collect that very data and present to the legislature a recommended pursuit policy by October of next year. Money troubles. Within 4 years, the city of Yakima will be spending millions of dollars it doesn't have, and its general fund a combined $24 million in the red. The city staff giving the alert this week to City Council. By that time, it will have drained every last cent from its emergency fund. Here's the breakdown. Last year, the city's general fund had just under $71 million in revenue, spent almost $70 million. This year, bringing in $71.7 million, spending $73.3, about $1.6 million in the red. And it gets worse and worse. 2025, a shortfall of $3.6 million. 2026, $6.9. 2027, $8.3 million. By that time, Yakima will have more than completely drained its rainy day fund. This isn't with any new spending, just things like paying staff getting now more expensive. So what's the solution? There's no easy one for this. Staff say property tax increases won't keep pace and that it's quote, more critical than ever to review alternative revenue sources. Now, that representative from the Association of Sheriffs pinned the blame on last year's new laws regarding police chases and use of force. You can see this map showing when those laws started and how thefts went up after that. But correlation doesn't equal causation, so we want to take a different look as we move this graph back out of the way. Others have said the recent increase in used car prices and value could be the reason. So today, I created a graph tracking average used car index price for that exact same time period. Here's what it looks like. It tracks pretty closely with thefts spiking up shortly after prices start rising. Let's overlay these one on top of each other to get a closer look, providing some evidence that criminals starting to steal a lot more cars as they saw those cars being worth, well, a whole lot more. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jake Taylor. Breaking right now, police and emergency responders swarming an address outside Wapato. Calls across the scanner of a possible shooting, but officials right now confirming very little of what may have happened there or not. Reporter Alexandria Rayford is live at the scene right now at this moment. Alexandria, what can you tell us? They will be giving her more information. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get it. Turning to our weather, temps well into the 50s today. You saw the wind that's been blowing through our area. This look live above Yakima, 45 degrees out there, and the wind is gusting. Mike McCabe here with what you can expect tonight. Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Thousands of people here in the Yakima Valley going to be losing at least $100 in food assistance starting right now this month. As the COVID pandemic is ending, so is additional federal support for SNAP benefits. Reporter Alana Martinez joins us in the studio. Alana, can you talk about the impact it will specifically have in the Yakima Valley area?
Well, no questions asked.
All right, just 1 month till that may be open. Thank you very much, Alana. Some good news there, could definitely help out the community. And new tonight, the Yakima Union Gospel Mission has sued the state today. The homeless shelter taking Washington state officials to court over being able to hire employees who share the ministry's religious beliefs. The Yakima Union Gospel Mission says it will help anyone, but chooses to specifically hire staff who have Christian beliefs and practices. But the state Supreme Court recently said state law prohibits religious organizations like the mission from hiring based on religion. The Union Gospel Mission now facing significant penalties for not complying with that law. The mission, with attorneys from a national group called Alliance Defending Freedom, have filed their lawsuit against the state in federal court today. An act named after Lucian, the little boy who went missing in Yakima, has now passed unanimously in the House of Representatives, designed to provide more resources to find missing persons. The State House of Reps voting on the MMIWP and Lucian Act yesterday. Today, we reached out to Lucian's mom, Sandra Mungia, to see what her reaction is to see Lucian remembered in this way. She told us in a text message, quote, "This makes me cry both sad and happy tears. It was so hard when we were in the moment not to have anything like this. I'm happy this will give other families something we didn't have. My baby boy will always be remembered and will live on forever helping people in need." End quote. The bill was passed in a 96-0 vote and will move to the Senate for further consideration. Almost 5 months after being shot in the neck in the line of duty, a Sunnyside police officer is back on full duty today. The Sunnyside Police Department sharing that Officer Javier Arredondo is patrolling the city streets again. On October 10th, Sunnyside police responded to a home after a man called saying his neighbor was firing a gun into his own house. As police arrived, shots rang out, several police vehicles were hit, and Officer Arredondo was shot in the neck.
In Seattle.
Police say the shooter ran away down the road. When they found him, this was the scene.
They're about to shoot him again. Boom! Mother, boom! Holy sh! Holy sh!
After a short stay at Harborview in Seattle, Arredondo was able to continue to recuperate at home until finally being able to return to full duty. Now, people on social media expressing their support for the officer's return. The man accused of shooting Officer Arredondo in the neck, 45-year-old Alejandro Mario Palomares, is scheduled to go on trial for assault with a deadly weapon in June. If you have a story you'd like us to look into, let us know on our tip line. Send an email to tips@KIMATV.com. You can call us at 575-KIMA. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You may find it harder to schedule certain dental procedures in Yakima, and it turns out the cause is the war in Ukraine. During COVID, dental offices across the country forced to shut down. Now that they're back open, they're struggling getting some of their basic supplies needed. Officials say the war going on between Russia and Ukraine has had a big impact specifically on dentists. The two countries are the largest suppliers of nitrous oxide and helium, which are both commonly used in the dental industry.
Unavailable over the last couple of years.
Between shipping delays, increased freight costs, and supply shortages, costs have gone up significantly. The New York State Dental Association, for example, says dental clinics went from paying around 5% of revenue on supplies before COVID to about 9% now. Getting back up to average temps for March today, but we're cooling back down again. Mike McCabe has the full weather forecast ahead, and a local organization helping kids not just survive, but love life.
It might have saved my life.
What Project Lynchpin does for Yakima kids and a Washington family facing a disease known as childhood Alzheimer's. Ahead.